All right, today we're diving deep into one of the most powerful and honestly most overlooked climate regulators on the entire planet, our oceans. They hold this incredible secret about how the world manages carbon, a secret that pulls together both ancient natural cycles and some seriously cutting-edge technology. So, let's get right into it. First, I want you to look at this number, 25 to 30%. Just kind of let that sink in for a second. So, what is this? What's it all about? Well, that's how much of the carbon dioxide we pump into the atmosphere gets soaked up by the ocean. It acts like this colossal, planetary-scale sponge. And really, you've got to understand, without this massive service that nature provides for free, our climate situation would be, well, a whole lot worse. So, how in the world does the ocean actually do it? It's not magic, not at all. It's a set of unbelievably efficient natural systems. Let's explore the planet's built-in toolkit for taking carbon and just putting it away for a long, long time. Okay, first up, a term you're probably going to be hearing a lot more of: blue carbon. Now, this isn't about the deep, open ocean. Not yet. Blue carbon is all about the carbon that gets captured and locked away by the living, breathing ecosystems right along our coasts. And the real powerhouses of blue carbon? They're these amazing ecosystems. You've got mangrove forests, which, get this, store up to 5 times more carbon than tropical forests on land. Then you have seagrass meadows. They cover less than 1% of the ocean floor, but hold about 10% of the ocean's carbon. Talk about punching above your weight. And of course, salt marshes, which are just masters at trapping carbon and burying it for centuries. Now let's move away from the shoreline, the huge, vast open ocean. It has its own tricks up its sleeve. We're talking about these massive, totally invisible pumps that are constantly working, moving carbon from the air down into the deep sea, where it can be locked away for thousands of years. And the most famous of these is the biological pump. It's this really elegant, life-driven cycle. It all kicks off at the surface with microscopic phytoplankton, which absorbs CO₂, just like plants on land. Then they get eaten, passing that carbon up the food chain. And eventually, when these organisms die or produce waste, it all sinks, carrying that carbon down to the seafloor, where it can get buried and taken out of circulation. Okay, hold on. That natural process we just talked about, that's a perfect example of sequestration. But before we look at how we humans are trying to engineer our own solutions, we need to get some words straight. People throw around capture, storage, and sequestration like they're the same thing. They're not. And getting the language right here is absolutely key. So let's break this down real quick. Capture is just grabbing the CO₂ right at the source. Think of a ship's exhaust pipe. Storage is the next step. You got to move that captured CO₂ and put it somewhere. Hopefully somewhere safe, like deep underground. But sequestration, that's the big one. That's the long-term removal of CO₂ from the atmosphere itself. That's what the ocean and forests do naturally. All right, now that we're clear on the terms, let's pivot. We're going to shift from nature's grand, elegant processes to human engineering. Specifically, how the shipping industry is trying to use the idea of carbon capture right on board its ships. I mean, think about it. It's a huge question. A ship is basically a self-contained moving power plant. So how on earth do you bolt on a system that can literally grab carbon dioxide right out of the engine's exhaust while you're in the middle of the ocean? The process is basically like taking a complex chemical plant and shrinking it down to fit on a vessel. The exhaust gas gets funneled into a unit. A special chemical solvent soaks up the CO₂. Then that CO₂ is separated out, it's purified, and then it's compressed and cooled until it becomes a liquid. From there, it can be stored in special tanks on board until the ship gets to a port that can take it. So why even bother with all this complexity? Well, because it's a way to cut emissions right now, without having to scrap the entire global fleet and build new ships from scratch. It can be retrofitted onto existing vessels, it works with the fuels we already use, and that makes it a potential bridge to help the industry meet some really tough international climate goals. But, and this is a big but, it is not a silver bullet, not even close. This technology comes with a whole raft of hidden costs, and some pretty significant challenges that we really have to talk about. So let's circle back to the ocean's natural job for a second. All that CO₂ it's absorbing for us, it comes at a cost. And that cost is called ocean acidification. As the ocean takes in more and more CO₂, the actual chemistry of the water changes. Its pH level drops, making it more acidic. And look, this is not some small, trivial issue. Ocean acidification makes it really hard for creatures like corals and shellfish to build their skeletons and shells. It basically starts to dissolve the very foundation of countless marine ecosystems. And it's a stark reminder that nature's ability to clean up our mess has limits.
And then you've got the practical problems with the onboard technology itself. The hurdles are immense. All that equipment takes up precious space and adds a ton of weight. It needs a huge amount of extra energy just to run the system, which, burns more fuel. And here's the kicker. Even if you capture all this CO2, what do you do with it? You need a global network of ports ready to take it off your hands, and that infrastructure just doesn't exist yet. So all of this brings us right to the heart of the matter. It's this incredibly delicate balance, right, between trying to leverage the awesome power of nature and trying to navigate the very real, very complex potential of our own technology.
Let's just pause on this for a moment. Read that again. The oceans store about 50 times more carbon than our entire atmosphere. That's just a staggering fact. It's a powerful reminder of the incredible scale we're dealing with here. The ocean truly is the giant in this whole global carbon story.
So I guess the bottom line is this. We have to fully appreciate the power and the fragility of the natural systems that have been protecting us, while also being brutally honest about the real costs and challenges of the tech solutions we're creating.
And that really leaves us with the ultimate question. We know we need to find solutions, but can our own ingenuity, our own technology, truly supplement what nature does on a global scale? And more importantly, can we do it without accidentally upsetting a delicate balance that has kept our planet stable for millennia? That is the challenge of our time.
If you found this useful, hit like and subscribe for more maritime exam and seagoing knowledge. See you in the next video.